Well, happy Valentine's, early happy Valentine's Day to everybody. I hope you had a good 2 weeks. I know there's a lot going on in the world today and a lot to be concerned about, but one of the things I want to do is make sure that you're happy, you're healthy, you're getting results, and you're enjoying a better quality of life, because I know we all have a greater potential, a greater health potential, and that's what we're here to accomplish. So, you know our theme, why work out when you can play in? I want to talk about that just for a few moments, because a lot of people are still thinking you have to really work hard and to get results. You really don't. You can, but you don't have to. There's some great programs out there that talk about, intensity. Yes, we can do an intensity, but we can have fun doing it. I don't want this to be something that you think of as you have to go and do. I want you to think of something that you get to enjoy, just like you do or did, or just like children do when they're jumping up and down on a couch or on a bed or just having fun. I've been doing this for over 30 years. To me, it's fun. It's still fun. I enjoy it. I don't want to wake up any other day because I know the difference in how I feel when I do miss Cellercise. I don't want to miss Cellercise. For those of you who know me, I'm Dave Hall. I've been kind of the catalyst to reignite the mini trampoline industry. 30 years ago when I began, it was pretty much dead. It really wasn't doing much. All the units on the market, virtually all of them, had little tube springs that did not offer enough of the acceleration, deceleration effect that was based upon NASA's research. It had a jarring effect, and that jarring effect could be damaging. And so I introduced a tapered spring design. Everybody started coming out with tapered spring designs. The difference was in the quality of the steel. So we went beyond that. We engineered and put together a patented tri-adaptable spring. As you know, it's got a larger diameter in the middle with a little ridge, and then a gradual taper, and then another ridge where it tapers again. It's a self-adjusting spring. The reason I bring this up, because we're in a new year, some of you are new, some of you are going to be listening to this as a recording. I want you to understand that the Cellerciser is not a typical rebounder mini trampoline. It is going to support you to do a lot of the different movements that we do on the Cellerciser, which are basic. Nothing crazy, nothing elaborate. They're just basic movements that are designed to target certain areas of the body while the entire body is always involved. So if we have knee problems, hip problems, back problems, shoulder problems, digestion, elimination issues, we have different movements that are designed to address those areas of the body. And I'd like to talk a little bit today about some of the areas, kind of as a recap, what you can do for shoulders, your back, your hips, your thighs, your knees, your weight loss, digestion, elimination. So we'll just kind of go through a stream of it to make it easier for people that might be joining us for the first time to have a good idea as to what Cellercise is about. But because we're celebrating Valentine's Day next week, and we'll have a day off for Cellercising, I hope you gentlemen take your wives out on a special date, and that you wives allow your husband to be a knight in shining armor and enjoy them and appreciate what they do also. It's I guess I'm old-fashioned that way. I still like to open up a door for a lady. I don't know if it's how they feel about it, but I know how I feel about it. I want to feel good, and I want to feel like I'm contributing or doing something for that special someone. So, and if you really want to do something really, really special, if they don't have a Cellerciser, consider one. Okay, so let's read some customer reviews. We had some good ones. And this is telling about how they feel about the Cellerciser. This is from Krista. She says, about 1.5 years ago, I bought a much less expensive rebounder based on the very large jump surface. I'm just a disabled vet with a head injury and a total hip replacement. I've had 2 shoulder surgeries since I took a fall under a 70-pound pack and jammed the sight post of my weapon into my bicep, causing a fracture and severe hip damage. Since then, my balance has been off, my lower back messed up, and forever out of alignment. And when I work on my arms, biceps, the pain in the area of the fracture was too painful to have consistency. So low impact exercise is super important for me. so I thought I would give rebounding a try, and I am hooked. I was worried about the instability that would cause me to fall even with the balance bar. I used the other platform for over a year faithfully, and it did help my balance a little bit, but I noticed that it did not help my alignment, and I stopped making improvements. I felt that I no longer needed the larger jump surface, and in fact was irritated with the extra room that it took up, and did notice some pronating, so I took the plunge and purchased the trifold. I love it, all capitalized exclamation points. In the 2 months that I've had it, I've noticed my balance get even better, and the strength and alignment in my lower back improved. I use 1 pound weights and have noticed that I no longer have pain in my bicep after I do extended arm curls while bouncing. That alone has blown my mind. I try to use my Cellerciser a minimum of 4 times a week and usually Cellercise for 45 minutes. My goal is to use it every day and to alternate in short 15-minute programs with my long program. I love Cellercising and look forward to seeing other improvements, hopefully to cellulite, muscle tone, and strength and overall health. My mother is 82 and a polio survivor. In March, I have a trip planned to visit her in Arizona. I'm going to take my Cellerciser with me, not only to use it, but also to see if she can tolerate just doing the health bounce. That's the number one most important physical activity I think everybody needs. I'd like to see if this will help her post-polio syndrome, weight and balance before I purchase one for her. That was super long, but I want to thank you for such a wonderful product. I think you need to find a way to get this into the VA medical centers, and we have worked with veterans hospitals and the VA center in Maryland and some other areas of the country. It would be a wonderful therapy for veterans and various disabilities. Thank you again, Krista. Thank you, Krista, for sharing that. Okay, since we're dealing with heart, I thought I'd take a few of our good customer reviews on the heart. I've been using the Cellerciser for 3 years. It is truly a wonderful invention. By using the Cellerciser, I've greatly improved my cardiovascular function and overall physical health. I only work out 8 to 10 minutes each morning. I highly recommend this form of exercise for anyone interested in improving their health. And thank you, Bill. This one's from Karen. Karen writes, March of last year, I had a pacemaker and a deep fib because my heart was only opening at 20%. Operating at 20%. I slowly was able to use the trampoline with health bounce only. My last echo came back and they wanted to up the pacemaker, but with doing 5 minutes 3 times a day, I was able to get my heart strong enough that they didn't have to up the pacemaker, and I got an extra year out of the pacemaker before they changed the battery. There is a lot more to my story that I will share at a short time. I look forward to it, Karen. The baby bounce has given me the health results that I want. I'm so happy, and my doctor is ecstatic. He tells me that talking to me now is like talking to a whole different woman. I only wish that I had known about Cellerciser before, and maybe I wouldn't have had to have a pacemaker at all. Karen. Thank you, Karen. And we, excuse me, and we do know that the moving up and down on the Cellerciser makes it easier on the heart as it pumps with the heart. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. A valve in my, okay, this is Camille. I love this, this customer review because one of the things that I've been talking about for years is in the tests that we often did with people, we would take a blood sample and we look at it underneath the microscope, and we often saw that the blood cells were sticky. And when they were sticky, they weren't separated. They were kind of clumped together, and some of the cells that actually looked like they had lost fluid, and so they were more elongated. They were separated from oxygen and nutrients and circulation. And so that it's harder for the heart to pump sticky blood cells through the capillaries in different parts of the body. But when the cells are separated, oxygenated, and energized, they're going to circulate better. Now, with that in mind, let me read this one. This is Camille. She says, a heart in my valve went bad, and I was seeing a cardiologist. I had to have several tests done as the valve worsened. A nuclear test was performed, and I was at 52%. I was so weak and achy. It was very hard to do my job at UPS unloading trucks and working. But one day a gentleman picked up a package and inspected it at my office. The box had been damaged, and so they checked to make sure it wasn't, that the unit, which is built like a tank, was okay, and it was. But while they were inspecting it, she had a chance to read about it. And it was one of your units. I was so impressed that I got one too. I jumped to save my life. And I certainly did not want open heart surgery to replace my valve. Didn't have time for that. I am blessed and happy to say, after jumping for several months, another nuclear test was performed. I was at 70%, all capitalized exclamation points. My cardiologist asked what I was doing. Jumping on your trampoline was the only thing I was doing differently. She said 70 was the low end of normal range and I didn't need surgery anymore. I have continued to bounce because if I stop, remember sticky blood cells? If I stop, I do find my heart weakens again, along with several other symptoms of poor circulation. So I bounce to keep my heart strong and my feet pain-free. I continue to work at UPS. I've gotten a second job too. People are always commenting on my spirit, energy, and youthfulness. I'm 52, but look younger. I'm so very grateful to God for directing me to your rebounder and for you and for his leading you to do what you have done. I know you were sick for a while and that illness prompted you to begin your journey with rebounding. He truly does use everything together for good. I tell everyone I can about rebounding and you and your Cellerciser. Again, thank you so much, all capitalized. Thank you, Camille. Now, she mentioned after she wasn't Cellercising, if the blood cells were getting sticky again, a lot of it has to do with diet, that if that was happening, that could have been a factor in her putting more stress or strain on her heart, making it more difficult to get that circulation through the body. What is interesting is when we move up and down on the Cellerciser in about 3 to 5 minutes, we've retested the blood, and since the blood cells themselves have a sodium-potassium pump, they're positive and negatively charged like a battery, they generate a field of energy, which you can see under Carillion photography, which we also did. And when the cells generated a field of energy around the outside of the cell membrane, it repelled the cells from each other. Well, the movement up and down helped to feed more circulation or fluid to the cell membrane or through the cell membranes of the blood cells themselves, imbibing them with more fluid. So instead of being deflated or elongated, they literally increased in that fluid. Now they were separated, oxygenated, energized, and literally in an entirely different state. So that movement up and down now moves the individual blood cells back to the capillaries, to the eyes, to the ears, and other extremities and parts of the body. So I think it's extremely important for the overall heart, I believe. We get on the Cellerciser every day to get rid of the stress, the tension, open up circulation, back flush the valves. The moving up and down is like an internal scrub brush, so it can help clear out blockages. If you're prone to blood clots, always work with your doctor. In fact, none of this is construed as medical advice. This is just what we have found. And if you have a medical condition, again, it is important. Consult with your doctor. In consulting with your doctor, tell them about Cellercise. That's how we're spreading. We're bringing more doctors involved. And in fact, I had another one call me up yesterday, and I just filed a form that I need to turn back into his school. He's an athletic sports trainer, therapist, and he wants to use this for his therapy practice. And there's several different movements we can do on a Cellerciser that address different areas of the body. And I appreciate him and his support. Okay. I began rebounding in the last century with a series of hand-me-down mini trampolines and garage sale finds. And when the last of the 3 or 4 different ones wore out, I decided to get the best on the market, a Cellerciser. That was around 10 years ago, and I never have regretted it for a minute. At this point, I wouldn't waste time or energy looking at other brands. One of the things I like most about the Cellerciser is how sturdy and flat the mat stays. On inferior brands, the mat sinks low when your foot hits it, causing the foot or ankle to roll inward. But on the Cellerciser, your feet all have the support they need to maintain the proper placement, and thus keep your ankles, knees, and hips in correct alignment as well. I use my Cellerciser outside as the sun rises in the mornings, and I never fail to celebrate the moment when a few minutes of bouncing, a fog behind my eyes lifts, and I feel as if I have come up from underwater. I see better, hear better, my mind is clear, it feels like I've shaken off the night. And at that point, I may or may not go ahead to do the cardio routine for 20 minutes or more. And that's exactly what I think is a perfect approach to Cellercise. If you can only do 2 to 3 minutes, great. I think you've warmed up the tissue of the body. You've helped the circulation move through the one-way valves. You've activated the lymphatic system. You've stimulated the thyroid, the adrenals, the endocrine system. The entire body is a wake-up call, I believe, in the morning. And after that, you're in a different state. And very often, if you're playing on it and having fun, you just keep going. But the Cellerciser has already prepared me for the day. My Cellerciser has become the single most transformative item of exercise equipment that I own, surpassing even my bicycle and my free weights. What else can so dramatically change my body and my mind in as few as 5 minutes, rarely more than 7? A big secret you should know is that if you want to improve the appearance of the back pockets of your favorite jeans, David Hall's Jamba Run is virtually guaranteed to turn heads and inspire compliments in a remarkably short amount of time. One of my favorite things about the Jamba Run is that you can feel various small and large areas of your body vibrating while you do it. And you know those places are on their way to looking better soon. Also, Cellercise is an American company with a record of quality and integrity. There's a kind of satisfaction you get from doing business with people you trust, people whose names you know, people who are proud of their product and committed to providing the best customer service experience possible. If you're considering purchasing a rebounder, you just can't go with the Cellerciser. It's a phenomenal tool for improving your health and overall well-being. It's a company that sincerely wants you to grow healthier and happier while using your product. You can't get that anywhere else. Thank you, David. Again, the whole point of tonight, we're going to share techniques. The whole point is to help you. I want you to get results. I want you to feel good, feel better, perform better, and have the information that you can share with others so that they can do and experience the same thing. Mark Brown writes, 3 years ago, I could barely walk, for my feet were in such pain. Now I'm walking at work. I work in a hospital about 6 miles a day, pushing beds, stretchers, and wheelchairs all day and jumping about 15 minutes after I get home for its massage for the body after work with no pain. Muscles are sore, but feeling good, and I'm 65 years old. I love my Cellercise and promote it to the patients where I work. It basically saved my life. Okay, we've got a lot more customer reviews, but...
we have a bunch of questions.
We do.
I want to answer.
Oh, good. Let's answer some questions.
Okay. What about working on the stomach and bat wings?
Bat wings back here. Okay. All right. Stomach. All I do is Cellercise. Again, I'm 65, so I'm not what I was when I was 40. but still, the stomach muscles, I don't know if you can see them or not, they're still strong. And that's I do my same routine every day. So here's how I do it. When you get on the Cellerciser and you do the warm-ups, and then you can do the jogging. I'm always working to lift my knees high. When you lift your knees high, that's all in the core. Now I'll do, count to 100, do my exercise. You can go really slow or really fast. When you increase the intensity, you're going to increase results. If you want to, however, leverage the weight, this is the way to begin, is jogging and then tilt backwards. When I tilt backwards just slightly, that's an isometric. You've got your muscles in this position holding you up. That's tight. That's toning your entire wall of your stomach from the top down, because you're leveraging your own body weight as you move up and down. That's what we're doing. We're doing sit-ups, or which I don't do, or You can do the sit and bounce, yes. The sit and bounce, that will definitely give you more rounder muscles, I found, but this will give you more flatter muscles. And then just jogging is a good way to begin. Kicking your legs out leverages a lot more weight because you're coming down with one leg up. And that's not just doing something like this. It's a little more intense than just a sit-up. You're coming down with a lot more weight, and it's leveraged the whole time you're doing it. And of course, you've seen the sit and bounce, and just bouncing like this, taking away your hands, moving up and down, lifting one leg up, lifting another leg up, lifting both legs up, bouncing a little higher, and you can see all those on our DVD. But that's the stomach. Now for the back of the arms, that's this movement that is going to be in our Mr. Rebounder app. So we should have those. In fact, give you an update on our Mr. Rebounder app. They've got some issues with a few of the movements in the program that they created. The graphic designers created the movements, and when they move those movements to the developers, it's having some difficulty because they're different versions communicating, so they're working on getting that repaired right now. I'll have another update again tomorrow. Thank you for your patience. We'll have 40 different movements to add to our current movements on the Cellerciser, and it will address the back of the arm. So when you're pushing down and pulling up, that's an isometric with an isotonic. So you're building the strength. You're putting weight not just on the arm, but on the skin and the collagen. Those are protein fibers. Usually just doing movements, you're not working the fascia, you're not working the collagen or the skin, you're just working a select muscle. But when you're Cellercising, you're not just working the muscle, you're still putting weight on everything else in the body too. Remember that if you weigh 160 pounds, at the top of the bounce, you're weightless. And then you're going to increase beyond 160 pounds, more weight on every cell membrane. You apply weight over and over to the cell membrane, they respond by fortifying their membrane with more protein. They don't want to rupture. So the muscles, bones, connective tissues, ligaments, tendon, skin, collagen, protein fibers, fascia, all of that has weight on it. You're not limiting the effect. I had a gentleman call me up today. I had a chance to talk to him. He's 83 years old. And in fact, I've got his customer review here somewhere. I'll look for it. But he's been rebounding and very excited about what he is still able to do. And what he is able to do is pretty phenomenal. He's looking for some pictures to send me right now, so I'll be able to share it with you. But he's been doing this for years. So up and down, the back of the arms. This one here, also where you're pulling apart. Arch your back a little bit, great for your shoulders, great for the arms. And while you're bouncing on down. Yes, Rick.
I've noticed that my hardwood floor bounces when someone heavy uses the rebounder. Should I be concerned for my floor?
Not likely, because there's not a lot. Your floor, yes, if you were hitting a hard surface like that, but the Cellerciser and the springs are absorbing the majority of that jarring effect. So it's, even though it may sound, if it's depending on how the floor, how sturdy it's built, it's not likely it's going to cause any damage to the floor, because again, you eliminate the majority of any jarring at all. It's energy that is simply being absorbed into the spring. The spring absorbs that energy. It doesn't dissipate it. It absorbs it, and then it brings it right back to you, so you're harnessing it. But if you want, and I've done this at another office, I put those foam pads underneath. They look like puzzle pieces you put together. Put a couple rows of that, and you put it underneath the mat if you're concerned about it. Anything else, Ricky?
Do you have any suggestions for stretching out a tight Achilles?
Yeah, absolutely. Try this one. All right, so when you're on the Cellerciser, just kind of bend down. I grab the Cellerciser, and as I tilt a little bit this direction, I take and move my my ball of my foot up. I just flex my foot, and then do the same thing the other direction. And you can do your back and whatnot this direction too. But that lifting the ankle up helps to loosen the Achilles tendon, and doing a gentle bounce just helps massage that area as well.
How can the Cellerciser help with arthritis in the hands and both knees?
How can Cellercise help arthritis in the hands and knees? Okay. Circulation is critical. And when we warm up the body, we increase circulation and we're moving fluid through the body. It takes a few minutes for the lymphatic system to be primed. The lymphatic system holds a negative pressure, so movement causes suction. When we get on the Cellerciser and we start to move up and down, millions of one-way valves start sucking. Well, within a few moments, you've got this vacuum of suction that's holding circulation between the bones, joints, tissues, vacuuming out the internal environment of the body. So once we've primed the body, and I say just do that for 2-3 minutes, and then you feel the throbbing at the tips of your finger. When you feel the throbbing at the tips of your finger, you know you're getting the circulation through all extremities. And that's when you can start to move your hands around. As we increase the circulation, and then do it up here, and then do it down here. It's kind of like cleaning a bedroom though. You might feel a little achier before you feel better because you're challenging those weak areas of the body. But that movement up and down has helped a lot of different people with it. Because once you create the vacuum and then you're moving, you're helping to increase the circulation between the bones and joints. On the knees, we want to strengthen the supporting muscles and ligaments to support the joint. So standing on the Cellerciser, lifting the heels up and down, well, that's a great movement for increasing circulation. Then, by spreading the feet apart a little bit, bending the knee slightly, and walking in place, we're now working the whole front part of the knee. All these supporting muscles and ligaments are working. And then to work the lateral knee, both sides of the knee, rocking side to side. And this rocking side to side can help with the hips, the thighs, and the knees. Now, as those muscles get stronger, they're able to support the joint more efficiently. And as we have better support, we're able to receive and retain fluid more efficiently through those joints as well. And a lot of arthritic conditions are caused from, well, a number of factors, but one being a little white blood cell gets in between the joints, eats up the metabolic garbage and waste, grows, can't get out, and explodes. You get these other little white blood cells that get in there to clean up the metabolic garbage and waste. They get too big, they can't get out, they explode, and you get this compound soreness. So movement helps to increase and open that up so that we have better circulation. Anything else?
Can you show the Jamba Run in slow motion?
Oh yeah, Jamba Run in slow motion, kind of. I won't, it'll be more of a Jamba step. But it's done by keeping the back straight, feet flat, bend to the knees. It's like you're sitting on a horse, right? You're holding onto the balance bar because it keeps you centered over your feet. Without the balance bar, one of two things generally happens. You can fall backwards, or you have a tendency to want to lean forward because when you're working these muscles, you can take weight off of the muscle by leaning forward. It puts it on the back. Well, we want to keep it on these thighs because that's what's really doing the work. So, and football players, they do the football run. I encourage them to do the Jamba Run because the Jamba Run is going to be more beneficial to them than the football run. And you've seen that. In fact, if you want to do this little test, you can take your hands, put them on top of your thighs, squeeze them with your fingertips, You're holding on to those muscles, hold on to the muscle, keep your back straight, bend the knee. Feel how tight those muscles are? They're working. You can feel them working. If you continue to hold on to those muscles with your back straight, now bend over. Feel how soft they got? Well, the football players, they get up on the balls of their feet like this, and they run really, really fast right next to the ground. Nothing wrong with it. It's just not nearly as effective or as efficient as keeping your back straight and your feet flat. You just can't do that on the ground because a jarring effect would destroy your back. It's way too much stress or tension on the back. Just sit back now. But on the Cellerciser, the springs absorb the jarring, not you. So by sitting back on it and pushing flat-footed, just like this, it's just I don't really take my feet up off the mat. You can a little bit as you get stronger, but you don't need to. It's more you're pushing down into the mat. So can you see this? You give us a thumbs up if you see this. Hope you can see this. Socks are a little dark. Good, okay. And as you get better, you go a little faster. And then you go faster. And then you can get to the point where you're lifting your feet up off the mat a little bit, keeping your back straight. And that's where the balance bar comes in handy. And you'll feel that. In 20 seconds, I don't care what kind of shape you're in, these big muscles are going to eat up the glucose and sugars in the bloodstream very quickly, and then they're going to, if you do repetitions, once those sugars are gone, now the body has to find more fuel. And it goes after the stored fat, which is fuel, white adipose tissue. Any other questions?
When you're doing the power breathing, is it through your mouth or nose as well?
Yeah, it's an exercise, not a meditation. So it's all done through the mouth. This is the purpose of this is to open up bronchial tubes and lungs and clear them out. So if we have congestion, this is a way to help clear that congestion. And again, it's done by putting your hands, feet spread apart a little bit, bend to the knee. We stand up, breathe in, come down, breathe out through the mouth. So it goes like this, goes. And when I'm done, I don't know if you can hear a difference in the voice or not, but it opens everything up. If you're a singer, a radio announcer, performer, it opens up the larynx as well. It gets to that other 1/3 of the lung that most of us never really get enough oxygen to. But if you've got any congestion, great way to help break that up and clear it up and strengthen the bronchial tubes in the lungs without having to go out and do a lot of long distance running or swimming in a chlorinated pool where you're breathing chlorine, which is not healthy. So it's an easier way, I think, to again, strengthen lungs, open up bronchial tubes, increase oxygen to the bloodstream, pump the lymph system throughout this whole chest cavity because you're pumping the lymph as you're moving up and down. And I think it's one of the top 5 movements that I teach on the Cellerciser.
Can we get one of those rugs like the one you have under your rebounder?
Yeah, I just called the company up and I left a message. They were supposed to call me back. We're trying to get the price down, but I'd like to know, if we can, how many people would be willing, because this one cost me $8.95, but I had to do I had to get everything done. It's a high quality, it really is good. But now that I've done the first one, how many would be interested in paying $500? Because it's not a cheap mat, and that's the reason I haven't carried them. But they're really heavy duty. They're just, they hold up well. This one's been here, what, 2-3 years? 3 years, probably. And they clean up well. They're a good one. I've looked at all kinds of other ones. There's cheaper ones on the market. I didn't like them. I didn't want to carry them. I'm trying to negotiate a better deal. So if you are interested and you'd be willing to pay $500, I've got to buy them in bulk. Let me know and we'll carry them. Other than that, they're just not, they're not cheap. Anything else, Ricky?
How can you ease migraine pain on the Cellerciser?
How can you ease migraine pain on the Cellerciser? Okay, I'm going to tell you a story about a lady who called me up one day. I'd been on the radio and she said, David, can I use the Cellerciser? I hope I didn't share this recently. I may have. I'm on the phone all the time. I share these stories. She says, may I use the Cellerciser? I say, can you walk? And she says, not really. I'm bedridden. I'm on IV medication. I'm taking lidocaine, Loracet, Vitacaine, morphine. She'd suffered migraine headaches since 1958. She'd had 46 days straight of migraine headaches and then another 64 days straight of migraine headaches. I know this because she eventually is going to end up writing me a letter. Well, at that time, she said she couldn't even hold a glass of water steady because of a tremor disease that she had. I said, well, you may need some help getting on and off of it, but you're welcome to try it for 30 days and then let me know. After 30 days, I didn't hear from her. I just forgot. Try not to do that, but it happens. 60 days go by, didn't hear anything. 90 days go by, didn't hear anything. A little over 90 days, I get a 2-page handwritten letter. It's on our website. 2-page handwritten letter from her telling me her story. And in that letter, she says that for the first time since 1958, she says, I'm totally migraine free. I'm off all pain medications. The tremor disease is gone. And for the first time in 4 years, I'm able to paint again. She goes on to say thank you. She thanks the Lord. She basically just said, thank you for what, I've got a whole new lease on life. Yours truly, Glenda. And it's a great story. So here's what she'd do. If she started off gently to begin with. If there's a blockage, if there's something occurring there, we don't necessarily understand what it is, but for her, what she did is when she had the headache, which you think you don't want to Cellercise, it's exactly what she did do is she listened to me, she did the program, she started to move up and down. She said within 20 minutes, if she had a migraine coming on, it was gone. So every time she felt a migraine that might be coming on, she'd go get on the Cellerciser. She said just doing the baby bounce, the health bounce, within 20 minutes, it was gone. It became part of her life. And she was willing to share that with the rest of us so that we can get those benefits too. But moving up and down on the Cellerciser just like this is great. If you want to know how powerful this is, just grab your deltoids, grab your shoulder muscles, or grab and squeeze them with your fingertips. Move up and down. You feel how it feels when you're weightless, and then weight. Well, that's going on everywhere from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. So if you do have a blockage and you're moving up and down, you're helping to break up the blockage, you're helping to open up the circulation to all areas of the body. And that's what she found out. Again, that's not medical advice. Consult with your doctor. Ask them how they feel about it. But that moving up and down, I think, it's done wonders for a great many of us.
Do you have any suggestions for the piriformis muscle?
Yeah. Piriformis muscle.
Mm-hmm.
That was nice. All right. We're talking about the rear end. Couple things. Yeah. What do you want to do there? Do you want to lose weight, or do you want to build it up and strengthen it and have it more lifted? There are two different approaches. If we want to burn off weight there, we do the Jamba Run. That Jamba Run, because it uses these big muscles, they're going to burn the fuel. And the most readily available fuel source is where they go after first. So if you're doing this movement right here, and you're doing repetitions of it. When I first started to do that, and I was traveling all around the country doing trade shows, I'd ask people that were walking by, are you familiar with the Jamba Run? Of course they weren't, I invented it, but it's a great lead-in. So I would ask them if they were familiar. No, they're not. I said, well, let me show you. Well, every time I did it, my metabolism would soar. That is intense. And for all of you who've tried it, you know most of us develop a love-hate relationship with it. We love it because it works. We hate it because it's tough, but it works. Well, I kept teaching. I'd be 12-hour day. I'd be at a trade show, right? I'm showing them all day long. I'm only on it for a few seconds, but every time I'm doing it, my metabolism goes up, slowly comes down. Never had a chance to come down because I kept showing it. I dropped down to 3% body fat. That's not healthy. I wasn't sleeping at night. I wasn't tired. I was eating 2 dinners. It's not healthy. I finally went to the doctors. I thought something was wrong. Dr. Armstrong did a full physical on me. He said, you're in great shape. You got the metabolism of a 19-year-old. I was in my 40s. I'm like, what? And he said, don't worry about it. It's just your body type. No, it was because of the Jamba Run. I backed off the Jamba Run, and it took about a month, and my wife witnessed the whole thing. You were too young, Brooklyn. But it took about a month to get my rear end back. It had burned. It just burns. So I don't know of a better technique for increasing metabolism, burning fuel.
What about building strength?
Okay, to build strength in the buttocks is you can do this movement side to side here, because you can feel when you squeeze the muscle, it's working. And you can, if you want to lift, tighten, and tone the backside, if you lean forward a little bit on the Cellercise, I'm going to do it sideways so you can see. And this will build up the back too. So begin gently. You can start off just leaning forward a little bit and kind of lifting your feet up. But as you get stronger and your back gets stronger, you can lift those feet up higher. And as you do it, every time I come down, I'm putting the weight right there. That's a lot more intense than just doing this. You're coming down like that, with that leg up. And that's going to build those muscles more effectively. And when I do it, I don't want to make sure you're on there. Okay, when I do it, I'll lean forward, and you've seen me, this is a glorified jumping jack. I don't do jumping jacks on the Cellerciser because if you land on the springs, you can break a spring. You can fracture one of these springs. I've never broken a spring in my entire life, but I don't land on the springs. So it's just like this. Yes, yeah, there we go. We'll do it this way. So this is what I do. But again, having that bar to hold on to when you start off is going to help you become strong in an altar position. I mentioned this, I think, the last time. Who does that? Who becomes strong in altar positions? That's a secret weapon for athletics and sports.
Does this help with osteoarthritis?
It's weight bearing for bone density. Bones need increased weight to utilize minerals to strengthen the bones. And we learned a lot of that through NASA's research. When astronauts were in outer space for 2 weeks, they could lose up to 15% of their bone and muscle mass, simply because the cells, the body, did not have the weight of gravity to contend with. Well, increasing the weight of gravity is going to increase your muscle mass and your bone density. And that's what Cellercise does. It doesn't lift weight away from gravity, it increases the weight of gravity. The advantage is it's not just on the bones, it's on everything. Muscles, ligaments, tendons, skin, collagen, fascia, protein fibers. Goes on and on. I don't know anything better.
Can you add exercises to firm up arm muscles to the Mr. Rebounder app?
Yes, I am. They're on it. And yes, they do. It's the techniques that I do on the Cellerciser that I've shown people on our Dave Hall Cellercise YouTube channel. But yes, they're going to be on. They're already done. They're already on there. They're just finishing the glitches. From what I understand, Android's fine. It's iOS that's giving us an issue. So we'll know more tomorrow. Anything else? Wow, that's great. You guys just made the program. I was going to do something different, but this is why I'm here, is to support you. Wondering on Cellercising, helping with plaque removal in arteries, or is food the best protocol? Yes and yes. Okay, food is. I remember watching, it was, I know Dr. Hans Deal was there, but I think it was another doctor who shared a video of a person who was having triple bypass surgery, and they were operating on him, and they actually showed it. And when he came in, and they took a blood sample out and they put it in a beaker, the blood and the fat separated. There was this layer of fat at the bottom of the beaker. And they asked him, they said, we'll call him Mr. Snow, because I don't remember his name. They said, Mr. Snow, did you have something to eat before you came in? Oh, yes, I did. What did you have? 2 cheeseburgers. Great big greasy cheese. The grease was in the bloodstream and it came out. When they did the operation, they were taking out long streams of fat out of his arteries. It was incredible. So does diet have something to do with it? You bet. People that want it, and I guess Bill Clinton used to like hamburgers a lot too, and started following more of a vegetarian diet and to help clear out his arteries. So yeah, a vegetarian diet doesn't have any fat. Staying away from the fats like that. Some fats are healthy, but a lot of the fats that we eat today are not. And so yes, diet has a lot to do with it. Green leafy salads and vegetables, and it's very good. Cellercising. Cellercising is like an internal scrub brush. You're moving up and down. What's the fluid doing? And it's also moving up and down, but we have one-way valves. So as we're moving up and down, and we're moving up, that valve is shut, it's putting pressure on the top of the valve, helping to open up the arteries or the blood vessels. And as we do that, it's helping to backflush the valves, get rid of trapped blood proteins, and scrub the internal environment of the body. So I tell people drink lots of water, because Cellercise is a great way, I believe, to detoxify the body. The lymph system and food choices work together for a healthier heart. You bet. And we know what it's doing with the lymphatic system. We talked a little bit about that. And yes, food choices can help, without question as well. In fact, diet, I think diet, and I prescribe to the old adage that it will be the future of medicine. With the diet and the food that we eat, the nutrients we receive. And I think that's going to be a big part of integrative medicine as we move forward. It says, I know you aren't a cardiologist, but with me being new to the Cellerciser world and having a known aortic valve issue, I'm curious about the heart health effects of this exercise. Have you known over the years any Cellercise users who have improved ejection fraction from Cellercising? Or, if to put it more plainly, has there been someone who is at risk for heart valve replacement surgery to no longer be at need just from Cellercising alone due to the decrease in lymphatic inflammation, drainage of Cellercising? I never read that question. I kid you not. And the answer is, you heard what we read earlier tonight. And what we read was about a lady who was looking at a valve replacement, who no longer needed it, and what that Cellercise did and what she says that Cellercise did for her. So again, consult with your doctor, health practitioner, let them know about Cellercise. I'm more than happy to discuss it with them as well. There's many different approaches we can take. But the gentle baby bounce or health bounce helps to move fluid through the body to make it easier on the heart. What is your diet and supplement regime for heart health? Well, if you want to strengthen the heart, I think one of the healthiest diets out there initially is a vegetarian diet. I'm not a vegetarian. I eat meat pretty much every day, but there's different kind of meats that you can eat. The heavier meats are harder for the body to digest. It's just a fact. We're built differently, and this is going to be interesting. Okay, I'm going to share some information with you. I'm not suggesting you give up meat. Okay, a lot of people do. I tried that. I couldn't. I lost too much weight. I went from 175 pounds out of high school down to 129 pounds when I was going to be a vegetarian. And boy, when I felt the pain in the chest, I realized, okay, I better stop that and start eating again. It didn't work for me. Now, maybe it's because I didn't know how to do it. That could be part of it. Maybe my metabolism was too high back then. I don't know. But I know what works for me now and what feels good, and I feel good. And a little bit of protein every day is good. But I'm also, when I was growing up, I was known as the burrito man. I made burritos all the time. I'd have beans, and I'd put onions in the beans. And at that time, I was eating cheese, and I put lettuce and tomatoes. And I would make this burrito, and then I'd put ranch dressing in there or hot sauce, depending. And to me, that was great. I could live on that. I still like that. I still do it. But yes, diet has a lot to do with it. Okay, now I'm going to share some things with you. And I'm not here to offend anybody. I didn't make this up. These are just facts that make you wonder if we're not more predispositioned toward vegetarian diet. Okay, if you look at a meat eater, they have fangs. We have a knife and fork. We cut flesh that way. They do it with their fangs. We have bicuspids, which are good for biting into apples and fruit and vegetables. You look at a meat eater, their jaw moves one direction, up and down. You look at an herbivore, their jaw moves more than one direction. Moves up and down, side to side, and forward and back for chewing the cud or whatever. But that's a vegetarian trait. If you look at the hydrochloric acid in a vegetarian, it's 10 times that which it is in a vegetarian. In a meat eater, is 10 times what it is in a vegetarian. The saliva is different in an herbivore than a meat eater. The intestines are 4 times the torsal length in a meat eater. So the food can pass out quickly. There's a lot of bacteria and other issues in meat. When you have higher hydrochloric acid, you can digest the food faster and easier. You can clear it out of the system faster. In an herbivore, the colon is 10 times your torsal length. It's because it takes longer to absorb the nutrients in vegetables and in plant products. So it's sitting in the intestines for a longer period of time. Other character traits, we sweat. Herbivores sweat. Meat eaters pant. That's how they cool their body down. There's other interesting, you look at herbivores, especially us, we have fingers. And when you turn in this direction, all the fingers kind of turn to about the same length, so you can pick fruit. You pick berries. You pick the things that you're going to eat. I don't know of any carnivores that have that. So there is a good argument that we should be more plant-based diet. Now, with that being said, I just encourage you to eat more live foods. We eat the dead processed foods because it's the most easily readily available. I'm guilty of that too. But if you can, supplement your diet with more live foods because there's more energy in the live foods. You have somebody who eats a great big salad for dinner, they're not going to be as tired as somebody who eats a great big dinner of steak and mashed potatoes and cooked vegetables. They're going to be tired. Their body's got a lot. It takes the body more energy to digest that food versus the live foods. So again, that's not from me. That's just from research that's out there that I'm just sharing with you. You may have your own opinions and ideas, and that's okay. You're welcome to share them. So we have the chat program room as well. I don't know if any of that helped you or not, but bottom line, drink lots of water, good clean water. Very important to stay hydrated. Good minerals, good live foods as much as possible. and Cellercise, so the body can absorb those nutrients more effectively and get rid of what your body doesn't need. Any other questions, Brooklyn? No more questions here. We've had a good session. I'm going to wait in a couple weeks and I'll go through, and hopefully we'll have the Mr. Rebounder app with all the new movements ready to share with you. For those who are interested in the module, the Mr. Rebounder module that does work now, the wireless module that interfaces with the app, we've got 20 of them available. We're working to get the circuitry, and it just takes time. So we're selling the first 20. If anybody's interested, you know it first because it's not on our website yet. I'm introducing it to you as a Cellercise family. They're not cheap. They're $149 for that module. And for those who know that it interfaces with the app, when it turns on, you can actually see the intensity, the number of bounces, the time, and the number of calories you have burned in that session. And then that is recorded into the app in your personal activity. So those are going to be available because we don't have the new boxes yet. So we're taking $10 off. So they'll be $139 for anybody who wants one. Feel free to order those. They're made here in the United States, so they're a little more pricey right now. But if there's anything else, feel free to give us a call. If you know somebody who's struggling with their health, with their balance, with their circulation, digestion, elimination, back, knee, hips, shoulders, just feeling good, stressed, wanting to sleep better, share the Cellerciser with them. We're the evangelists. We literally are the people that are out there making a difference in the lives of other people. If there's anything else I can do to help, feel free to give us a call. I'm in the office. Jerry, my vice president, he's in the office. We're there 9 to 5 Mountain Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Thank you. Enjoy. Have a great 2 weeks. Stay healthy. Keep Cellercising. And remember, you don't have to work out when you play it. Thanks.